Hi, ladies. You know what? I was so busy looking at all of the postings that you did for the tea bag holder. I am very impressed. Those are some really, really nice looking tea bag holders. I like Faye's and Jackie's. They use the kind of the teapot paper. I thought that's a very cute idea. And what is it? Gail, she used the retired Simply Marvelous paper. That looked really good, and she tossed in some little chocolates there. That looks really good. And Maria uh, liked the holder too, and then hers looks really kind of happy with the paper that she used there. Nice work. And look, she even stamped the background with the flowers and everything. That looks really, really good. Well done, ladies. Well done. So I gotta tell you that. Holy cow. I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, I just want to make sure. Let's angle this paper. I want to make sure everything is all right. Is everything okay? Just want to check. All right. So it's a little delayed on my laptop. Okay, I just want to make sure it's all okay. There we go. I wanted to show you. I just saw this. I had this off to the side. I wanted to show you. But this was one of the other mock-ups. This is as far as I got. And it was kind of a fancy fold. So I used some of the designer's DSP that is, oh, what is it? It comes in a 6x6 packs. It's those basic in colors in the book. And I really want to show it to you. I want to find it. Oh, apparently I have two books with no little tabs. And I'm going to just zip in here and to the paper section. And it's the in colors. It's this one here. I had used, so it's the in color 6x6, and I think that was the copper clay I was using, I think, on that. So that's what this one is around. And what I did is I stamped, or I punched a circle, and then with the DSP from the daisies, I stamped another circle, and I put it on. Apparently, I didn't like the backing of this other one. I thought it just didn't match, so I added the backing from this circle that I punched out, and then I kind of folded it over like that, and I thought, oh, that'd be cute. And then, you know what, if we added like a little flower on the front, that's really cool. Now this is note size card, so it's smaller than the other one, but I wanted to kind of show you. I was kind of fiddling around with that one too. I like this, but I think on a larger card, this circle I think would have been kind of small, so I would have had to go with maybe a die or something. But it's an idea. See, I extended it a little bit by going over on two. So this is a really rough mock-up, so I probably will write my instructions in here, and maybe I'll use it for something else. I don't know. What do you think? Should we use it for Stamp Camp in September? That's kind of cute. Oh, that's very, very cute if I say so myself. Anyway, so that was just something I wanted to show you that we had there. Okay, so I wanted to show you, even though like these in color 6x6, they are kind of pattern paper. They may look kind of I don't know. Usually when I look at them, it's like they really don't get my heart racing. But you know what? For background, these actually work really well for background DSP and stuff like that. So don't discount looking at those papers, okay? They can go actually quite far with what you want to do, okay? I just wanted to kind of point that out. There are a lot of little hidden gems in the catalog. If you have found some hidden gems, comment below what you think is a hidden gem from the catalog, and let's discuss it. Okay, are we ready for card number 8? Now this is using up the rest of our one sheet wonder. As you cut this down, you may want to add a little bit more flowers, but let's look at it the way it is at the moment. Did you get a chance to look back at Debbie's one sheet wonder with the weaving? Very cool. Comment below, tell me what you think about it. So I pulled out my Berry Burst and my Bubble Bath just in case I need to add more flowers to this. And I want to use the Berry Burst as the sentiment, and we're going to use it some with the flowers too. So for this design card, okay? And if my life depended on it, and say somebody like stole me and said, flag some ends, I couldn't do it. Flag some ends or your life would end. I couldn't do it. So I grabbed my old punch. Some of you may have it. It's about 2 inches wide, and you can flag ends. So I'm going to be using this. So sorry. If you can do it by just scissors, more power to you. Fantastic for you, but really, I can't. And I don't know why Stampin' Up! Got rid of this, because I think it's one of the best tools around. Make sure you hold on to your punches, because they are very, very useful. Especially like stuff like that, the circles, anything that can make a sentiment tag. You could do lots with a punch on a sentiment tag, and stuff like that. So again, here is the case that I'm using. All my goodies are inside. And this is the card we are going to make. Now, this color combination is not the same as what I have stamped. Now, this is Melon Mambo and Crushed Curry. Love the color combination, but I'm going to go with my Berry Burst and Bubble Bath because I like it. I don't know. So what we're going to do is this is going to be a little flip card like this and like that. So what we're going to do is we are going to need to do some scoring and some embossing. When you look at this card very closely, you'll see this piece of cardstock is embossed, as is this one at the back. So we are going to be doing embossing. And I think embossing just adds a little bit more to a card than just having a mat. I'm really starting to become a big fan of embossing folders. Now, that doesn't mean I buy every single embossing folder. I buy the select ones that I think I'm going to use a lot. Now, this one came from that 3-pack. You remember when you looked in the catalog, it was a 3-pack for $41. And I thought, holy cow, $41. But you know what? This pattern itself, I've used quite a bit, and it's really, really nice. And now there's another pattern in there. You know what? It escapes me, but I've used it a lot. And you know what? There is a polka dot one, and I thought, ooh, I don't like it. But that really makes excellent birthday cards. They make it kind of really cool and funky and very happy looking, like that. So, all right, let's put that aside. I'm going to put that off to the side. And I got my instructions. So there we go. There's the instructions for the One Sheet Wonder. I'm going to put those off to the side so I do not go, do not lead you astray. So what we should have pre-cut. So there is a piece of 7" by 5 1/4. So it's 5 1/4 high. Should be 5 1/2, right? 5 1/2, 5 1/4. 5 1/2 or 5 1/4. Oh, hold on. Let me just double check. Aha. So there. Oh boy. So in here it should be 5 1/2. Should be 5 1/2. Even though, say you already cut it to 5 1/4, that's okay. My mistake. I will change that. Okay. I was trying to redo this as I was going along. So it may be slightly shorter. So if you cut it at 5 1/4, it will be slightly shorter. So it's 7 inches long. Okay. By, I know initially 5 1/4, but 5 1/2. And we're going to score it at 4 1/4. So that is, when we close it, it is a regular card size. So I do apologize for that. Okay. So I'm going to take it in here and score it at 4 1/4. Okay. There we go. We got that piece. And that's folded. So when we fold it, this piece is missing from the right side. Okay. So just so that when you fold it over, that's the size of the card. Now, the Berry Burst, we wanted another piece to go with that. And that was the little flap that is going to go across, right? So that needs to be that needs to be, I want to double check, 5 1/4. Did I cut, did I list that? Oh, it's 4 1/2 by 1 1/2. Okay. 4 1/2. What? Okay, sorry. 4 1/2 by 1 1/2. I'm going to go by the instructions on the paper. So 4 1/2 by 1 1/2. So this is 1 1/2. Yes, correct. It is 1 1/2. And it's at 4 1/2 and score at 4 inches. So I'm going to take it down to 4 1/2. I'm going to make mine exactly the same as what it says in the instructions. Okay. So it's at 4 1/2 by 1 1/2, and I'm going to score it at 4 inches. So I'm going to take it down and score it 4 inches. So perfect. We are on track. So there's that piece. Fold that over, okay? So we need to make a little tab. So we're going to fold that little end over, okay? And that will kind of go on the inside underneath the white. Okay, so we got that piece of berry and a piece of 2 1/4, 2 1/4 by 2 3/4, 2 3/4. So it is going to be a little taller than it is wider. Okay, so it's a little taller than wider. Now, in the instruction, it says to emboss this with a piece of an embossing folder. We're going to do that in a minute. So I just wanted to let you know, these two pieces we will emboss. I'm going to go through all of the measurements to make sure that you have all of the pieces. Okay, so we will emboss these two pieces, so hold on to that. Now, bubble bath. So if I cut my bubble bath, it is going to be a little smaller than the berry burst because it's making a little mat around. See, so there's a little edge all the way around. Okay. And then there's a little piece of white. And again, if I mat that on top, there we go. There's a piece of bubble bath as a mat. And then we got the berry burst around it. Okay. And just going to put that off to the side. Hold on. Put that there. And this piece of bubble bath is going to go on top. See, it fits. So if I fold this piece under, it's going to be flush against, and then I'm going to actually then flag cut these ends. So I wanted to show you the pieces. Okay. And of course, a piece of basic white, which will go on the inside. There we go. Again, with a little edge, and then that will tuck under. So I wanted to just go over those pieces with you, okay, before we do anything else. Okay, so what I'm going to do, actually, if you're ready and you've got all your pieces prepared, okay, I got an extra piece of basic white just in case I make a boo-boo or something like that. I just got an extra piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to emboss these two pieces with an embossing folder. And I think I'm actually going to use that little star one that is from the 3-pack. Okay, so let's go over and do some embossing. Just want to make sure. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Just gotta get back in my chair. I have a chair that's like a bar stool, and I gotta like get a running start to get up onto this chair. I feel kind of funny, like a little kid. So I used in the embossing folder, that was a 3D embossing folder. There's that star one. It's kind of a little matte there. And then it's got the little polka dot one. Again, I used the kind of the plastic case. I put these 3 in it. And when you fold the case open, you can slip something in the plastic sleeve. So that's what I did to keep these 3. Now, the case, it holds, I was surprised, 3 embossing folders. Okay, so that's how I keep my 3-pack all together. Here we go. I pop it in there. It fits perfectly, so I'm going to close it up, snap it. There we go. And it is all in one piece. Like, how come they didn't sell it like this? Like, what a brilliant idea this would have been. So that's another reason to get these little cases, okay? So, you know what? Like I said, a hidden gem. Got to use these little hidden gems. Like this case is like actually helps me a lot. So just to let you know, okay? So I have got my pieces embossed. And when you look at that little star emboss, it looks really, really pretty. And I think it kind of matches the flowers of the paper that we're using. I think it works really well together. There we go. There's a little fold. So it really adds something to the cardstock. I think embossing does a lot. I think it was Maria that loves embossing too. So if I put a little bit of an edge around that, it just adds so much more. So I'm becoming a big fan of embossing. So I can put that on top, lay it down again, just adds a little bit. You can barely see it, but it kind of adds a little bit of a step up for that. Okay, so let me know how you're doing, and we're going to be ready to cut and to stamp. I'm going to stamp some images on this little piece of white paper. And what I want to do first, I'm going to look at the flowers that are in this daisy stamp, okay? And I'm going to lay them across. So I'm going to take one of the stamps. Now this is the large flower. This is the large daisy flower. And it kind of fills it all out. See, it's this one right here. So it fills it all out. Even though it covers over the paper, that is fantastic. I kind of want it to kind of fall off the paper. I don't want to use the small daisy like this one because I want to put a sentiment in the center of the flower. Okay, so that's what I want to do. So I'm going to kind of lay that down. It looks good. It fits on there. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my blocks and add it on. Okay, now I'm going to be using Berry Burst, but I'm also using Berry Burst for the sentiment. I do not want to use the first generation stamp, like this dark color, on the flower outline. I'm going to stamp off on my piece of paper here, and then I'm going to stamp on to this little square. So it's going to give a bit of a darker image, but I don't want it to be so dark like this that it's going to have to compete with the sentiment. So let's open up our Berry Burst. And I'm going to pat, and I'm going to stamp off. And actually, just for testing purposes, I'm going to see what it's going to look like if I stamp off. It's a little lighter. Good, that's exactly kind of what I want. So I know that it is definitely the stamp off version that I want. So I'm going to stamp and then stamp on the white. There we go. So it is a bit of an image on there. Now, it will not compete too much with the bubble bath that I'm going to add into the flower. And let me clean my stamp before we continue on. So let me clean it. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Stampin' Scrub. Comment below if you are too. Or do you prefer the scrubby, the purple scrub? What is it? What is it called? See, I don't even use it enough to know what the name of it is. That's kind of funny. So I'm going to now go and use the inside of this flower, and I'm going to use it with Bubble Bath. Now, like I said, it should not compete too much with the outline. It should give a little bit of an image on the outline. Okay, let's do that. Oh, chamois. Yes, Gail, thank you. Chamois. I was thinking, I think I was having, oh, look at that. How about that? Okay, the reason that my stamp fell off is because I use it too much, and all I have to do is kind of rub it in my Stampin' Scrub, flip it over, rub it with the Stampin' Scrub, and you know what? I can see cat hair on my Stampin' Scrub. So what I'm going to do, before we go any further, I don't know if you can see cat hair. If you have a Stampin' Scrub, now this does not happen to the chamois, get some tape. Okay, I'm going to be using painter's tape because it's close by, but use the other, packing tape. I'm just going to run it across, get some face hair off this thing. Works better if it's dry. Okay, let's pick up some of those hair. Okay, just gonna, or a lint roller would work too. I'm just thinking of a lint roller. There we go. And I'm gonna do that on the other side too. Impromptu. Oh my gosh. What did Faith do? Roll in this thing? There we go. Okay. Because you do not want to have any hair or lint on your Stampin' Scrub. Oh yeah, wow, that was a lot of hair. Because when you stamp, say you get it on the outside, you will see it. So now I can clean the stamp properly. And because I did the back, now it's sticky again. Okay, so just to let you know. There we go. Kind of went off grid there. Let's get back to our stamping. So I'm going to ink it up. And I'm moving around the pad. Okay, I want to make sure I get the ink from everywhere. And I'm going to look. We're going to double stamp. There we go. So I can see from the outline one, it got a little blobby, and it's because, I think because I had that dust on the Stampin' Scrub. But that's okay. There we go. Clean that stamp. Much better. That is much, much better on the Stampin' Scrub. Okay, gonna put that back in. Losing my flowers. See, these are all not sticking because they're all dusty now. And they keep having to move them around. I'll clean them all later. Now, I don't want to use the inside of the flower. I want to use a sentiment. So I'm going to use Your Friendship Means Everything because I think that's going to fit really nicely right in the center of that flower. So I'm going to lay it down. And again, the same problem as I had with the first one. It's a little dry, so it won't stick so well onto the block. So again, we're going to go back to the Stampin' Scrub, clean the front, flip it over, clean the back, and now I can feel it's already sticky, and we're going to place that on the block. Okay, so, oh, that is Bubble Bath. I don't want to use Bubble Bath. Close that up so I don't put my finger or my elbow or my ear in it. And we're going to use the Berry Burst for the sentiment. Okay. I'm going to pat it, just double check. See, I remember I had the little image right here on my scrap. I'm just going to double check. There we go. Straight up and down. Looks good. Looks good. I'm just going to clean up that little bit here. Okay. And we are ready to stamp onto that flower. This is a very juicy pad. Okay. We're going to stamp our sentiment right in the center of the flower. And I think I turned it. Oh, there we go. Now, see how the color combination on that kind of makes that sentiment really stand out from that flower. Okay. Again, we're going to clean our stamp. Always take the time to clean in between if you can. And we'll put that back in the case so we don't lose it. Okay. While you're doing that, what I'm going to do is actually, these ones keep falling all over the place. While you're catching up and doing that, I'm going to clean these ones that kind of keep getting away from me. Clean the back and the front, make them sticky again. There we go. I'm just going to clean those off because if I don't do this, what's going to happen is they are going to kind of move in the case and I will lose them. And then I will be sad and I will find them 6 months later, probably attached to the bottom of the cat's foot or something like that. So just clean it off. Once I found a stamp, it was a lonely stamp I found somewhere, and I kept it in my laptop so I could put it with the stamp set it went with. It sat there for 1.5 years, and I never did figure out where it went, and then it started disintegrating. So there you go. Don't leave it on your laptop. It will disintegrate. Okay. All right. Actually, you know what? I'm looking at this and I'm thinking Wink Stella. Who else is thinking Wink Stella? And you know what? Dang it. I have no Wink Stella left. I have to get the one from the garbage can. Let's see if I can squeeze something out. Come on, baby. Oh, there's a little left. There we go. I'm going to pat that. Oh, come on. Squeeze, squeeze. There we go. Okay, there was a little bit left, but not much. All right, I'll hold on to it to the very end. Okay, look at that. That is looking fabulous. I love it. And I'm going to mat these 3 together. So simply gluing it straight down. You can either glue it straight down or pop up each level with dimensional. It is totally up to you. And I kind of like the idea of popping them up on dimensionals. Each level, so each level will be a little higher. That's going to be interesting. Add a little dimensional to that. Place it in the center of the Berry Burst. Look, see that is already setting off that color of the flowers. Look, just by itself is very pretty. Like the 2 color combinations are really nice. But when you add that little darker edge around, it really makes it pop. So adding just that little bit makes a big difference. And Debbie is quite good at doing that. Whenever she posts her pictures, she always adds just that little bit more. So she does amazing work. So I'm going to pop that on top. And so there are the 2 levels of dimensional. So it adds that height. I think it actually looks better than the original. I like it than the flat on flat. Wait, did I? Yeah. Okay. Looks good. Okay, so I got that all placed together. So I just glue those together. Let's look at the inside of the card. Okay. So the inside of the card is going to sit obviously on the inside. Now, when it's closed, this piece of white we want to see on the right side. Okay. We want to keep that blank, but if you want to add some flowers on this side, go right ahead. It is totally up to you. But before we glue this piece down, we need to assemble the little band across. Remember, we embossed that piece of 4.5 by 4.5 by 1.5. I'm going to flag the end. I'm going to run it in here. And I'm going to flag the end. And I'm going to do the exact same for the other piece. I'm going to eyeball it. Make sure it's nice and even. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm going to flag the end like that. I'm going to double check. Oh, that looks really good like that. So if I have it folded over. Now it overhangs a little bit more than the edge. That's okay. I can easily just cut that off with some scissors. But I'd rather have the extra length like this. I'd rather have that extra length because you can't glue things back on. It's like cutting your hair off. You know, one day you want to have really short hair and you cut it all off. The next day you can't add it on. So it's better to have it longer and then cut it down a little bit. So I have these two pieces. The angles are correct on that. So I'm going to glue this together. All right. Oh, this one ran out. Why do we have that one? Okay, there we go. Glue that. I'm going to make sure I have enough glue on there because I want to make sure there's enough contact with the embossed paper. I'm always afraid that, you know, when you emboss paper, that the glue doesn't touch all the points. So I'm going to put that in there and press it down. And see the little flap? I'm going to hold this back and I'm just going to cut that little bit off. Okay. Just snip it off. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to give you a minute to get that far with the assembly of the card. If you have any questions, pop them below. Okay. Gail has seen some people keep the tubes from the Wink of Stella and use them. Oh, Gail, what a brilliant idea. Oh my goodness, I like I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to do exactly that right now. I'm going to get a piece of my painter's tape. That is actually a brilliant idea. I'm going to get my painter's tape because I know this is actually kind of running out. I'm going to wrap this around here. That is a brilliant suggestion. Thank you, Gail. Just going to wrap that around there. And I'm going to get a Sharpie. And I'm going to write on there. What can I write? Water painter. Painter. There we go. Oh, Gail, that was a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. So I'm going to keep that, and then I'm going to keep that off to the side and use it as a water painter. I like that. That's a very smart idea. Yeah, I'm going to keep that. See, you learn something new every day. How about that? Okay, there we go. Just tidying up my little water painter. There we go. I'm definitely going to keep that. Oh, Gail, I'm there with you. Getting the most out of what we can. I really hate throwing things away. I try and keep everything that comes with Stampin' Up. I even keep the, you know, the bubble wrap that comes in the box. I keep that. I stockpile it and then I bring it to the post office because they use it there. They just give it to people that need it to, you know, when they're sending something. they just give them the bubble wrap. So that's what I do. I pretty well keep almost everything from Stampin' Up. I'm trying to think what I throw away. Geez, not much. I even use the box that the Stampin' Up orders come in. I put all my paper recycling in it, then I close it up, and then I stack it at the end of the driveway for the recycling guy to come by. Some days I have like 6 boxes of recycling in it. All right, so we got that all done, right? Are we good to go? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this to the back of the card insert. Now, if you were going to stamp, you're going to stamp before you do this because you don't want to stamp while it is in the card itself. So I'm going to figure out where I want to put. Do I want to have it up high? You know what? It doesn't matter. You can have it up high and then have your sentiment kind of hanging down. You can have it in the middle, have your sentiment over top, or you can have it near the bottom and have your sentiment come up like that, which is actually kind of really interesting. And I think I'm going with that one. There we go. I'm going to keep it right there. See, that's what I mean about moving things around. You got to move things around, not putting it on the bottom. I like that. It's all nicely glued down, and I'm going to add my adhesive in the corners, just double checking to make sure my seal is not shifting. And I'm going to put that on the inside of the card. Okay, there we go. Pat it down. Looking good. So if I flip it over, this will go on the front. I'm going to have it like that. Looking good. Like that a lot. Okay. I like that so much, and I don't want to lose this piece. So I'm going to glue my little flower down. Now remember, if you're doing what I'm doing, only glue the part that is touching that piece across. And I'm going to go right in the middle. There we go. So you don't want to glue the whole back part if you're doing the bottom, okay? So just to make sure. So that card part is all assembled. The last thing we need to do is do the cutting. So we need to cut this, and it will go in the front right here, okay? So that looking good there, ladies, looking good. Now, if you followed the cut instructions and your card is a little shorter, don't worry about it. Just cut your papers just slightly shorter to make an edge all the way around. And you're going to continue that with this piece of cardstock here that we've cut. Again, I'm going to look for the one where does it fit most. Like it looks like this portion of my paper is going to fit nicely. And if I fold it over, okay, maybe not. What if I did it this way? Okay, I like this. Or what if I do it this way? Gotta imagine. What would it be? I'm going to do it this way. I think I like this one because there's lots of flowers on the top and there's a little bit of white space on the bottom. So I'm going to do it that way. Okay. So take a look on your One Sheet Wonder paper on what area you want to use. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this down. And I'm going to just double check. Okay, I would prefer to double check the measurements, even though I'm pretty sure I got them right on the instructions. So if this is 2 1/4, 2 1/2. Okay. So I'm going to cut it at 2 1/2. I'm going to just write this down for you. Okay. So it's going to, I'm going to start, I would prefer to start at 2 1/2. And it's wide. Okay, so 2 1/2 wide. So that's what we're going to cut this down to. Now, I prefer to cut it a little larger. I'd rather do it at 2.5 and then double check and lay it down, okay? So it's going to be 2.5 wide. You may be asking, well, how high will it be? Now, if you followed the instructions, you're just going to take it down a little smidgen more. If you did it a regular size, so it will take down to 5 1/4 tall. If you followed the instructions, it will be 5 inches tall. Okay, so it's going to be one of those two. So start with the larger number, lay it down and check it. If it is too long, then cut it down a little bit more. So let's get our trimmer out. Put those up there for you. And I'm going to trim this to 2.5. And I wanted this one piece, so I got to turn it. So 2.5 by 5 1/4. Okay. Again, like I said, I would prefer to check. Oh, and look, it fits exactly. So it was definitely 2.5 by 5 1/4. If it was, say it went all the way up to the top, I would cut off a little bit more, but do it slowly. Okay. And now I can add this strip to the front flap. So I'm going to glue that down. Always double check before you do anything. And if you are cutting paper, sometimes just cut it a little larger and cut down. Okay. Trust me, I've learned the hard way. I'd rather take 3 passes at a cutting down than looking for a new sheet and redoing it. And look at that. Holy cow. It looks fabulous. Okay, I'm going to look for some little colors. You know what? I only got 1, 2, 3. I don't have enough to get 1, 2, 3, all of them in. But you know what? One of you guys did it with pearls, and I thought, what a brilliant idea. What have I got close by? Okay, I'm just looking at stuff I have close by. So again, I use the case. See, there's my embellishments. I have a little case for embellishments. I'm telling you, these cases are a godsend. So I would keep that in there and keep that close by. So I've got some other embellishments in here that I have not used yet. And can I add those on? Should I, I'm just looking at different colors and see what I want to use. I'm actually kind of liking these. Geez, you know what? I don't even know which one it is. But I like these colors. Can I get it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's see. Do I have enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I do. I can use some of the bigger ones on spots that are like kind of hanging out there a little larger. And you can use the little ones. Oh, on there. So look at some of the embellishments that you have. The pearls are always a great thing to have in your stash. Pearl embellishments. You can always add color with that with Stampin' Blends. They're a good thing to have as a staple. There's some other things that are good to have as staples too, like that twine, that, what is it, that burlap looking twine. It's a thin one. They're always good to have in your stash to keep handy, right? So there we go. I'm just going to add that. Now the reason I'm using these embellishments, it's just because that I didn't have enough of the yellows, or I would have used the yellow. I didn't have enough, so open this up and I'm going to pop these guys in here. There we go. I think that was a big one. I don't want a big one. Oh dear. There we go. Was the wrong size. Here we go. Carefully just take your time and just add the embellishments. Okay. Oh, I think I got one more right there that needs it. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to close that up. Oh, I forgot one. I'll use a larger one on that. See, I got a couple of large ones and a couple of small ones. Oh, there's another one I forgot. It's like, where's Waldo? There we go. I think it adds a little bit more. You know what? I could even add a couple around here if I want. What happens if I did that? I could do that. I can go a little crazy with these embellishments. Look at that. I think that's enough. I think that looks good. So here's the original card. Okay. Again, it's in a different color. I like adding the embellishments. I think it adds something to it. There we go. So there we go. And that's off to the side. I'm going to put my embellishments back into this case. Right. There we go. This way I always have it. Okay. And what do you think of that card? I know there was quite a few steps to that, especially assembling. Hopefully that you had it pre-cut, and that helped out a lot. Okay. So even though in the initial instructions it has the incorrect, it says 5 1/4, it should be 5 1/2. Just cut it down a little bit. And you can still create the card. I'm going to make the change to that card, to the instructions, and then I will re-upload it to the Google Drive with the new one. Okay, I'm just going to make a note to do that. There we go. So I know to make that change. Now, you still may have some of this left over. Give it a try. You know what? You can always just cut a 4 by 5 1/4 and just use that as a basic cover, you know, for a basic card if you want. Or try something different. You know, post what you've done with this last little piece. I'm kind of interested on what you're going to do. Okay, so we're going to take a little break. It is almost, it's 11, just past 11:45. So what we're going to do, so let's see, 11, it's, technically it says, oh man, we are like behind 11. Wow, we're behind 11:45. How long have I been talking? Okay, we're going to take a little break and come back for 12 o'clock. And we will start on the fancy fold. It's called card number 9, and that should start at 11:30. We are slightly behind, but that's okay. So I'm going to just grab a water and come back for 12 o'clock, and we will start on our next card. Okay? Thank you very much, and I'll see you in a few minutes.